Hi guys, I wanted to do a little tutorial online here to show you some of these deep fake photos that are coming out, being created by AI photo imaging systems, and just kind of show you what's out there and show you some of the telltale signs because I think there are people that are using these images to to scam people. Obviously is the number one thing, and I think probably in the future this video will probably become obsolete. Like anything to do with AI, it'll become obsolete fairly quickly. I mean, I started looking into some of these deep fake images maybe 6 months ago, and already even in that 6 months there were telltale signs that I could spot back then, which the AIs have corrected since then. So those it's getting harder and harder to tell the difference. So just to give you a little bit of background on how I got interested in these in spotting these fakes was a background. Well, it started off with web design, but I was working in a studio with a photographer, and then um, I became very interested in doing photography myself. In particular, the type of photography I was doing was like I was using a lot of Photoshop to composite images to create these kind of fantasy images. So basically, using Photoshop to create special effects for photos. I'd create images of people flying or falling off building. I did one of me falling off a building. It was a lot of fun, but with Photoshop back then. Now this is back in Photoshop CS6 days, when the latest kind of improvement that Photoshop had made was a thing called content aware. Now that was a feature where you could, all right, you might have had, just say you had a photo out, maybe a bride and groom or something, standing on a country road with some trees in the background, but then there was like an ugly telephone pole with, or a power pole with wires in the background. You could use content aware to create a marquee around, say, the electricity pole, the power pole, and then you'd hit content aware fill, and what would happen was it was a very early kind of iteration of this AI imaging technology. It would look at the pixels around it without really knowing what it was looking at. It would kind of look at some of the patterns in the pixels, so it can see trees, it can see leaves, it can see a basic horizon. It would use that image to then fill the image that and cover up, say, that power pole, and then you do it for the wires, and you could actually very convincingly delete certain things depending on the complexity of what was in the background for it to fill up. Things like if it was a bit of graffiti on a brick wall, you could maybe get away with, say, doing a content aware. You could delete it because it can see there's a pattern. It can mimic that pattern and copy over it with new pixels. But there was always places where the content aware fill just wouldn't work, and you tried a few times, and no matter what you did, you kind of get these blurred, weird kind of interpretations of what it should have filled it with. I'll give you an example. Wait. Um, Photoshop content aware gone wrong. Let's have a look at this, see if we can find some images. Okay, here we go. We'll just start having a look at these. All right, so here, content aware file. So you can see they have used the marquee to, I don't know, to get rid of something, that was in that section, and that is what it's filled it with. It's like gone, all right, a little bit of probably the horse's leg has wound up over there, and some of the grass that was probably in focus at the forefront of the image, and it's put it there in the background so you can see what I'm talking about with let's have a look at some more. Can't immediately see. Oh, it looks like there's some boots down there that they've put in, but you get the idea. Oh, here's this original image that they've tried to. That'll give you an idea. So yeah, there's the cow. They wanted to get rid of the cow out of this image. They've circled it, hoping that content aware would just fill this marqueed area with what's around it, which is just grass. And you can actually change the settings and you can have a little bit of success with it. But obviously, in this case, it didn't work. That's what it wound up with, was that. So I started, I was aware of how AI can kind of fail when it comes to interpreting what something should be. Now, to learn about the deepfake photos, we can go over to this website called thispersondoesnotexist.com. And all this is actually a teaching tool. Oh, this is a wonderful example. You don't see too many AIs doing this kind of thing anymore. That is quite obviously horrendous. To give you a bit of an idea of what we're looking at here. Now, if you ignore, the obvious mutations, around here, and you just look at this girl's face, at first glance, and I mean, especially if it's, small, or on a profile picture or something, you wouldn't know that that's a completely artificially generated image. And when I say completely artificial, I mean, this is an image that has been created not by a human being, but by a piece of software. The person has said, I want a realistic photo of a brown-haired female or whatever. And so it has created this image pixel by pixel. It's imagined this whole image according to what it already knows from previous training. Yes, you actually train AIs. From previous training, it's got basic understandings of what pixels need to go where for it to make a convincing image of a human being. So none of these aspects, the hair, nose, eyes, teeth, whatever, none of these have actually come from existing photos of people, which it's then compiled together. It's created this pixel by pixel. So if you consider that for a second, it's pretty crazy. Now, this image is going to be pretty easy to pick on. With this, I'll just give you a little rundown. I mean, I don't really have to tell you what's going wrong with this image. You can plainly see it. With this website as a teaching tool, and it has been designed to help people learn how to spot the difference between a photo of a real life person and a photo of a person that doesn't exist and never has. So I can just go up to the top of the screen here. I don't know what I'm using, Safari. If you're using Chrome, I think your refresh is over here or something, but you just refresh the page and it will just randomly generate, and look at that, it's generated a baby, which I think, I don't know how I feel about it. But so there's some obvious things here that are going wrong, but we'll take a look at them. Now, you can hit that refresh button an infinite amount of times, and every time it will just generate a completely brand new image that no one's ever seen before, which is, that's pretty scary. So let's have a look at this image. I mean, there's some obvious things like the hair. The hair is kind of tricky, although a lot of the photo, a lot of it's got pretty, not too, but you can see that there's bits where there should be kind of hair, but with being a baby, you just don't know. They've got very fine hair. So one thing that, it's just scary how it's even got little details. Little fine wrinkles. That's just how, One of the things that you can, often the ears are a telltale sign. I'll give you a list of telltale signs. You've got hair, ears, iris, the actual black dot in your eye, the iris, corners of the mouth, clothing, and background are pretty much your main telltale signs. So this one, the hair is quite obvious. It doesn't look natural. You've got all this kind of blurring. It's grabbed these colors. You can kind of see how it's similar to how Photoshop used to fail with content aware, because it's actually kind of similar technology. So you can see up the edge, you've got like little bits of random. It doesn't know what it's doing at this point. The background is kind of a different color to the rest of the background. It knows that humans have little fine bits of hair that stray out from the head, but it just doesn't know where to put them or where to stop doing them or what should go in the background. It's just a bit confused. We know that, okay, a kid's hair is pretty messy. Some of this could be plausible, but oh, it's a dog barking in the background. Random bits of color, bits of hair out here. It just didn't know what was going on there. Can't really see much with the irises here. Other than that, I mean, the clothes, definitely look at the clothes. Now, you can see that it doesn't really know what it's doing with the clothes. Like, see down here, there's kind of weird here. Like, what is that? It could be holding something, I guess. But then, like here, it doesn't know. I mean, is that meant to be a hand? Is it part of the clothes? You can see there's a bit of confusion with the software as to what to kind of fill in. It kind of has a basic idea. And for the most part, if you sent somebody a photo, and they saw it, at that size and said, hey, look, here's a picture of my nephew or, whatever. You go, oh, wow, isn't he cute? Well, you'd be wrong. So I just want to refresh and see if I can get one that's a little bit harder to pick. All right, this is not a bad example. Another telltale sign. Now, this is kind of weird, but every time you look at a AI generated image, you will get a sense of familiarity with the person. It'll kind of look a bit like a famous person or something like that, something you often experience. And that's because a lot of them have been trained on images of celebrities and a vast group of people, but then it kind of like categorizes them to these kind of like look a bit like everyone photos, which is, I don't know, it's kind of weird too. This one's a bit hard to pick on. I mean, it's pretty good. Probably the best thing, I mean, the irises in this one might give it away slightly. This bit of random hair is pretty much the only thing giving this away. Like, what is that? You can tell by the color that it's trying to be a bit of hair, but nobody's hair does a little T-section at the end like that. So this one's a really hard one. I mean, the wrinkles look convincing. Now, if you get right, hang on, I'm just going to zoom right in. You can see the irises sometimes. Now, with a human being, the iris should be right in the middle of, I don't know what you call this part, the colored bit. Whereas these ones kind of aren't. You can see that they're like, that one's like a weird blobbish, almost triangular shape. Another thing you can look for is the reflections in the eyes. Now, if this was a real life photo of a human, those reflections would be pretty much the same, kind of the same, maybe in a different spot in each eye. Whereas you can see here, this one's just got 3 random dots. This one's got a dot and a squiggle. Now, that's a really minor thing, but it is a telltale sign. I'll zoom back out. It's not a lot. Now, the ears, often you'll find that the ears, this one's pretty good, but often the ears will look like they don't belong on that head. And let's just skip through. I'll show you. You'll see what I mean with another image, hopefully. You just don't know what you're going to get. All these images are side on. What I want is one that's front on, like this. Earrings. This is a good one. Okay, so straight away, we've got hair, bits of weird kind of, it doesn't know what to do with the edge of her hairdo. Sometimes the bits of fine hair down the side will have like a straight edge, which is kind of weird. In real life, a female wouldn't have like a really defined straight edge as though she'd been shaving or something. That would kind of be softer and it wouldn't be so defined. It's minor, but still. Now you can see the reflections in these eyes. It's actually got it. It's nailed it on this one. That's pretty realistic. What isn't realistic is the edge of the hair. We'll check out the edge of the mouth. Pretty good. Teeth, Yeah, there's actually a bit of a giveaway there. That line around the teeth there, it could be that her tongue would be pressing there, but that doesn't look natural to me. You can see, hang on, let's zoom in again. Yeah, it's like she's got one single tooth at the bottom. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Now, earrings. The AI doesn't fully understand earrings. It doesn't understand ears quite plainly. You'll often find that both, like each ear looks completely different to the other. Like, look, this one's so, like, kind of up higher on the side of her head, and this one's kind of down low. Neither of them really, like, this one could be convincing as an ear. This one, no, that doesn't look like an ear. The other thing the AI doesn't understand is earrings. It knows that we have these kind of like fleshy bits on the side of our head that are a little bit kind of wobbly and, got ridges and whatever. So it does those and it calls them ears. It also knows that we have shiny things that kind of hang around the ears sometimes, but it doesn't know what earrings are or how they function or how they hang with gravity. It doesn't understand gravity. So you can see here it's gone, all right, I'll put a shiny thing over there. That's meant to be an earring or a stud. So, and then you notice, well, she could just have the one, but yeah, that's an AI mistake. It's a fail. We could look at her clothes. Now, that doesn't look convincing. It's not too bad. You can see how it's different on each side. Like that one's kind of looks like it's pretending to be a collar, although it does look like it's made out of metal. Now this side, it's thinking, oh, am I like some kind of bikini strap? It's kind of forgotten what it's supposed to be doing. This one's got material on this side. This one's just a strap and then like skin. So, and look at the edges of the hair. You can see there, it really doesn't, obviously it doesn't know how to do black curly hair. But otherwise, it's pretty scary. Let's move on to another image, see if we can spot some other obvious. This one, the thing that stands out straight away is probably the clothes. It's got some kind of random piece of material going down there. Not really. It could be consistent with the type of clothing. But then you look over here, it's kind of got a little bit of it, but then where's the rest of her body? The hair's fuzzy. This one's not too bad. Straight hair, obviously a lot easier for it to do than the curly hair. Irises, there's a giveaway, like not in the middle of her eye. It's kind of like a pointy edge on it. Now, if you happen to be looking at a photo and you go, oh, that iris, that isn't completely circular. Humans don't have perfect circles for their iris. But they certainly don't have pointy, jagged ones like this. And you can see the reflection is different in both of them, although that could be passable. There was mouth, not too bad. I won't go on forever, but we'll see if something that earlier a human being's eyes are actually, if you draw a line across the eyes there, it will actually be halfway across their head. So it'll be the same distance from here to the top of his skull as it is from here to the bottom of his chin. Sometimes the AIs will put the eyes up here, or and it's very obvious. This one, yeah, I think it's probably, I think that one's done wrong. So that one looks like there's actually a much longer distance from there to say there than there is to there, and that's actually unnatural, although you can't immediately sort of notice that. So that's pretty clever. Sometimes you get a sense that the ears don't belong to the head, which is kind of the feeling that I get when I look at these ears. They're different shapes for starters, and they're on different heights. Sometimes you'll get one ear has an earlobe, and then the other ear doesn't have an earlobe. And the only person I know that does that was probably Chopper Reed when he chopped his earlobes off. But most people have matching ears, so that's something to look for. Irises, not too bad. Very big, but that's possible. Teeth, kind of not too bad. Hair, obviously. You get the basic idea. And then what's this? It's just a little bit of like a content aware fail. Wish I could. Here's another example of earrings gone wrong. So that's it trying to do an earring. And you can see her ear isn't realistic at all. Then the other ear, something going on there. Like it's trying, like maybe there's an earring in there, but it's just weird. Not in the middle of her eyes up here. Weird shapes for her iris. Bits of random hair. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a wrinkle or a hair. Look at this earring. Yikes. So you get the idea, but you know, it won't be long before, oh, there's some stuff going on weird with the teeth. You can see some little extra bits of white. Now, I know these are only small details, and you might think, oh, well, that just could be a mistake in the photo, but I'm telling you, it's not. When they can do other details, this isn't just you know. Now you think, all right, so what's the purpose of these made up images that look like real people? Well, scammers use these, and you know, it could be, you wouldn't know who's on the end of the profile, so they use, probably, the crazy thing is they'll use an image, and they'll create either a fake dating profile or a fake Instagram account or Snapchat or whatever, Facebook. Now, okay, so why don't they use images of real people, you ask? Okay, so some of you guys may have seen that. You get a friend request from somebody in your family. It's got their profile picture. You go through, it's got photos. It looks exactly like their account because they've just jumped onto, say, your Facebook account, downloaded all your photos, and then created an exact same account. And they do this to try and scam you. They say, hey, it's, just say you get it's your brother or something that got a fake thing. He says, oh, I had to create a new Facebook account. Look, my car's broken down. I need you to send me money or something. Now, you can imagine quite easily if it was maybe an elderly person but Facebook can identify that. They can see that, okay, these images come from this profile over here. This is somebody doing it. But if you create a Facebook profile that has an image that doesn't belong to anybody, then they can sort of skip that part of the test that way. And yeah, they can jump on dating sites, trick men who are vulnerable, maybe older men that are lonely, and vice versa, women as well, and then convince them to deposit money into their bank, and they'll drive up from Sydney and they can meet up somewhere or whatever, So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of scary things about it. I can't really see anything good coming of it. Like, what's the point of... Yeah. But yeah, so I thought I'd just do this video, show you. There'll come a time when you won't be able to tell the difference. Now, currently, they can do this for video as well. But in that case, they're putting the face of somebody else onto the body of somebody else. And there's no detail. You can't really zoom in and get high definition videos just yet. But eventually, you might be able to see a video that looks exactly like our Prime Minister telling us that we all got to go and do something, and it's completely made up. So, and you won't be able to tell the difference. And that's a bit scary. So I will leave you with that. And jump on this website, have a little look, see if you can spot some of the telltale signs. So just remember hair, the iris, corners of the mouth, teeth. that kind of thing. Earrings, ears especially, and clothes. Clothes is a big one as well. Yeah, I don't like it when it does children. It just, to me, it's kind of, but yeah, the ears. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.